Turn on that radio and back here. The cops ain't likely to catch up with us, not tonight. So we can all be quiet and peaceable and listen to the music.
Whatever. Hear me? What's up?
Tommy, that's generally where you respond as the co-host.
Let's put on my chapstick.
Are they seeing us right now, Mike?
Yeah.
Because my mic's not on.
Your mic is on.
My mic is not on. I can't hear myself.
Ah,
I can hear nothing.
keep talking. I can
Well,
hear
if you can hear us, then we can't hear ourselves. So it's really great. Now Mike's going to climb under the desk right on live air. I'm Dave Villa, and I'm going off. You know, I'm actually using, really, Mike? I'm using my God gift hearing, my ability to hear with my ears, where I don't have to actually hear through these. Wouldn't it be great if you could walk around all the time on a headset, Tommy?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like literally, like if you could hear yourself. There you go. You could hear yourself like that. Wouldn't that be great? Mike, you have to scoot this desk back, brother. What the freaking heck? Now I'm buzzing. All right, someone's going to get fired up in here on Auto Dealer Live. I sound like I got a break up in my voice. Do you hear that? Yeah, you sound like freaking. In honor of Star Wars, Tommy is playing the part of R2-D2. Go ahead.
What's wrong with he?
He's a little robot, dude. I mean, you sound like a robot. What's up, Steve Brickhouse? Brickhouse said, I can hear you. Good. Well, we can't hear ourselves, Brick.
Hey, Brickhouse. Look, I'm the talent of Hillsborough County today, buddy.
Hey, Brick, text me back. Do you hear a robotic sounding in our voice, Brick, or is that just the pleasure in our ears?
Hey, Brick, can you see my awesome glasses? And I'll tell you the reason I'm wearing the glasses, Dave, is because literally,
Your future's bright.
well,
Oh, you were going to say that?
no, I was not going to say that, actually.
Go ahead.
What I was
Why are you
gonna
wearing
say-
glasses?
Well, it was since I was on this show the last couple of weeks now. Started to be some notoriety. I read the reviews last week, and I think those were pretty good reviews. So we'll build off of it.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, whoever. Fantastic.
The reviews are fun.
And the reviews have been winning. They've been my first
I think Mike needs to put his headphones on so he can hear what we hear. What do you think?
But I would say, but here's what I'm going with. I've literally.
They can't hear you, they said. Brick said, I sound good, you sound like crap. They can't hear you. All right, so I'll talk for a minute. Well, here's what Tommy was basically saying. That's what it sounded like in my ear. So if you didn't hear him, that's what it sounded like. Tommy Elwell doing R2-D2. So Tommy was saying, based on the reviews, why don't you tell me, Tommy, and I'll repeat it. So Tommy, what do you want to say?
I was saying that I've gotten an additional 6 Twitter followers.
He was
I'm wearing
saying
glasses now for anonymity,
that he got an extra 6 Twitter followers, so he's wearing glasses for,
so I don't get recognized.
so he don't get recognized. He's incognito. Oh, man. All right. It's always great. It's always on our toes here at Auto Dealer Live. We're loving it, and we're excited to bring you the Women Who Rock Auto panel. And Mike's going to give me the thumbs up. Tommy, I guess when you could talk here in a second. Otherwise, just, sit there for a second and look pretty. What's up? Go ahead and talk, man.
Well,
Go ahead. Let's just do this show all discombobulated style.
what I would like to do is, we started the Women Who Rock Auto, but I had the little jingle for it. I want to continue doing that for the day.
Right.
It was you started it. Remember? You would just say the Women Who Rock Auto.
The Women Who Rock Auto. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, let's do it one more time. In case you don't realize right now, this is, you know what we do? And we're not trying to be funny. This is seriously like complete jack-up stuff going on. But you know what's funny? How appropriate. Because my wife always gets mad at me, and your wife always gets mad at you. We always do stupid stuff, right? And we've got 12 women that are going to be on today that can tell us, guys, you jacked up the opening. The only one thing you had to do, guys,
One job.
jacked
it up
and you
quality
jacked it up.
wise.
Take the trash out. Freaking take the trash out.
Sammy needs a spanking.
Tommy was not joking.
Hey, is that?
And
can
now
you
you can hear him. Can you hear him
Hi,
now?
buddy.
Steve Brickhouse, text Text us and tell me. So there you go. All right, we are here.
Yay.
Go ahead, man.
Well, we're here again. It's another week. We are 1 week closer
Can you hear
to
him,
Christmas. We are doing the Women Who Rock Auto Show. I'm excited, Dave Villa. I'm amped. Subi is with us. I know she's going to be kind of co-hosting.
Not kinda.
Or hosting, and we're co-hosting.
Yeah, no, yeah. She's hosting. Basically, I don't even know what questions we're asking. Subi has them. I'm kidding.
I met Subi in person. She's quite impressive, and so I'm excited to see what the show entails, what it brings. I'm excited that my velour jacket is velvety.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm completely we're usually quick on our feet, and they're telling you to speak up. So,
Me?
yeah, they're
I
saying
need to
to
speak up.
speak up. Okay, so
Is that better? Oh Lord.
it's better. All right, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
move on. Let's move on and bring the first panel. Mike, this is from freaking completely jacked up. Here's what we're going to do first so we can get this so I don't throw something on the ground and stomp on it like a big baby, all right? We're going to go to commercial break first, and then we're going to come back
Good idea.
with the panel because this is all jacked up in my ear. And I apologize, and I'm excited at the same time. So
It's the Women Who Rock Auto Show extravaganza.
the next up, first panel on the Women Who Rock Auto show when we come back from commercial.
Jason Rice from Lot Pop, and let me tell you what we do to help dealerships increase used car sales 20 to 30% in gross in volume. 3 areas we focus on: trend reports. We look at weekly trends that no one else is trending to make adjustments on our inventory. 2 is we do weekly review calls to review those trends, but also we dig through every car that needs to be price adjusted to increase the searches. And 3, we do a virtual lot walk, make sure every car is standing tall in line, and make sure we don't have bad photos like these. Check out our website, lotpop.com. our blog at automotiverevolution.com, and our weekly video tips at increaseturn.com. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Alan Ram, president and founder of Alan Ram's Proactive Training Solutions. Let's face it, good managers are defined not by what they do when they have a showroom full of customers, but more by what they do when there are no customers in the showroom. In 2015, whether you like it or not, the car business is all about conversion of opportunities and driving traffic. All those great closers and desk people are not doing you a whole lot of good if your dealership is not converting effectively on the telephone and internet. As an owner or dealer, when you see 5 salespeople standing by the front door doing nothing, don't kid yourself. Your dealership is not being effectively managed. Management by Fire is a 2.5-day intensive course conducted entirely by me that teaches managers how to effectively manage in today's automotive industry. Simple processes for driving high-quality traffic. For more information on upcoming events, please call my team at 866-996-4665. Once again, 866-996-4665. Thank you.
Dealers, it's no secret that in this economy, cash is king. From the smallest independent lots to the largest franchise dealerships, our businesses are driven by available capital. Having more access to our back-end reserves can be a game changer. Until now, a dealer who wrote, for example, $1 million in premiums their first year because of the way contracts earn out would have access to about $70,000 after the first year, about $250,000 the second year. The dealer can see his reserves increase by around $1 million per year, but can only tap into a small percentage of that number. That is starting to change. With accelerated profit accessibility, the new reinsurance model makes a huge leap in helping dealers with their biggest reinsurance frustration: limited access and poor investment income on reserve. What could that mean for you?
Well, if your loss ratio is estimated at 40% after the first year, under the new reinsurance model, you could access $600,000 instead of $70,000. After the second year, it could be $1.2 million instead of $250,000. Times are changing, even for reinsurance. It may be time to take a closer look at your dealer-owned reinsurance company. Go to dealerre.com or call Dealer Re today at 804-824-9533. Thank you.
Max Profit Selling, an easy-to-follow, buyer-friendly sales process that will give you the tools, skills, and confidence to consistently sell premium vehicles to delighted buyers.
To learn more about selling the way your customers prefer to buy, please visit nopressureselling.com or call 1-800-515-0034.
All right, we're back, and you can hear us. The reason I know that is because we made sure of it. What's up, T?
Yo.
We're back. You're listening to Auto Dealer Live, and this is the Women Who Rock
Auto.
Mother Hunchin' Auto panel. That's what I'm talking about, Willis. Remember that show?
I do.
That's what I'm talking about. What you talking about, Willis? That's what I'm talking about, Willis. I am ready.
I've been ready.
I am ready.
I was ready about 5 minutes ago, and the audio was having such issues.
It's such issues,
job,
and those
Mike.
issues are gone, T. Here we go, man.
Gone.
We're going to bring on our special absolute woman who rocks auto.
Oh, yes.
She's going to be the queen bee for the day. We have the one and only Subi. She's the executive vice president of Dealer Authority, all-around car girl extraordinaire, and she's going to be speaking at Digital Dealer in January next month. And Subi is going to join you and I today and help us navigate through the Women Who Rock Auto panel. Subi, how are you?
I am well. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we are excited as well, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to help us really find out what's going on here. I love some of the questions that we're going to be talking about today. When you and I talked about this, Subi, you know, one of the things that we both agreed on, and I'm so glad let's stop talking about the fact that we're so, surprised, and maybe it's just us guys. We're so surprised that women are rocking auto, and let's just talk about the fact that we have some women who are rocking auto on the show today. The bottom line is they happen to be women, and they're freaking killing it. How about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that the concept of, we need women, we always will need more women to come into the industry, but let's stop talking about the hypotheticals and start talking about the people that are actually here, that are doing it well. Let's inspire other people. Let's talk about the challenges and move on. Let's keep the conversation going in a new direction.
Amen. Right, T?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right to it here. And we have on the first panel, we have she is an amazing speaker. I got a chance to hear her at your conference back in August, and met her a few times, heard her at Digital Dealer as well. She is the number one Fiat dealership, broke 100, had an amazing story with that. Obviously is a great car person. And Lisa Copeland out of Austin, Texas. We have Bobby Hair, and Bobby is amazing. She's sales and marketing extraordinaire. I mean, she's everywhere, and she's one of my favorite. I love her to death. And Tommy, who else we have, man?
We have April Rain. April
Just a
Rain.
little Prince, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of Prince.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. That was just that we decided that while we were on commercial because Tommy started singing it, and I was like, you got to do that. I never thought of that, but I will tell you, when you Google your name, April, a lot of weather comes up in months, and Mayflowers, April rain, things like that. But thank you for being with us, ladies. And Subi, what an amazing panel to start things off with. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about people that are doing it, this is the panel to talk about people. I mean, Lisa, you brought up her presentation at Women in Automotive and blew me away. I mean, to hear about what people do and how they do it is one thing. but the things she brings to the table are things that I never even thought to talk about, and I'm really excited anytime I see Lisa speak. So, go ahead.
You know, I got to say, my wife just texted me, and Tommy sung that, and my wife said, even he's got a velvet jacket on. She's impressed. So he went all out with the Prince thing, man. You guys can't see this, but this is velvet. That's velvet.
What is that, velvet?
Velvet jacket, baby.
It is,
like blue suede. Yeah, Lisa, you killed it, and you know, I love the story. And Tommy, I know you weren't there, but we've talked about this. You know, and this is what I call somebody who kills it. I don't care if you're a man, you're a woman. You to be able to tell your Fiat CEO, hey, look, I'm going to hit this number. And he's trying to talk you off the ledge. Hey, look, you're already number one. You're already killing it. You're already great. Hey, listen, stop. You're great already. And you're like, no, I'm going to hit 100. And when I do, I want the freaking, you know, I want the guy to get in his plane from Italy and fly over and throw me a party in my dealership. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And he did. And that's incredible, Lisa. You've inspired women everywhere. Why do you think this is so important that we're talking about, you know, challenges, you know, that, you know, one of the things, you know, I want to talk about challenges on the way up, you know, why some women still have it hard to, you know, to get to where they want to get, you know, why maybe some men wouldn't even click on the show maybe today, you know, because it said Women Who Rock Auto. Let's talk about that for a second.
Well, you know, I think a lot of things with women. Number one, I think everybody, man or woman, you've got to set a goal. You know, my goal from the time in 2010, because at that point I was a Chrysler dealer, I was running a couple Chrysler stores. When I heard Mr. Marchione speak on A Promise for a Promise, I told myself that day, and I said it out loud, I'm going to meet this man. He was amazing, and he was somebody that I put into my universe that I wanted to meet. I knew the only way that I would ever have a chance to meet someone like Sergio Marchione was to break a world record. So we get the Fiat franchise, and so my team and I mean, we go into breaking the world record mode because we wanted to beat them. I mean, we wanted to meet the man. And I think that it sounds like a crazy story, but it was a goal, and it was a goal that drove me every single day. And I tell the story because everybody's goal is going to be different, right? Not everybody wants to meet Sergio Marchione. But what is your goal? Do you want to own a dealership someday? Do you want to have your general manager's job someday? Who is it you want to know within the industry? You have to set a goal, and then you've got to go for it. Like, go for it. Like, I didn't sleep for 3 months. You know, and not hitting the goal wasn't an option, number one. And number two, I said it out loud. I said it to everybody from Automotive News to Mr. Marchione's office. So I knew that I painted myself into a corner where we had to get it done, and I think that that's important. And I think men and women should both look at what is your goal. It may not be as lofty as meeting the chairman of the board of FCA, but a goal may be, if you're a salesperson, is that you want to be a sales manager someday, or you want to get yourself into F&I school. But if you never say it out loud and you don't have an action plan, I'm here to tell you you'll never get there.
And by the way, Melissa, you can't see her, so but Melissa Grenke is on the phone as well. She's with Spitzer Automotive, the Ohio car girl. And Melissa, thank you for joining us as well. Apologize, but when I was looking at the screen in front of me, I stopped there, and when Tommy sang the song, I mean, I think everybody's knees went weak, and I just forgot. So I'm sorry. Melissa, thank you for joining us as well. But Lisa, that was awesome. And Tommy, you know, that's an inspiring story.
It is. Now, I'd like to ask Lisa too. Now, to say it's not, you're not able to argue that breaking a world record is a huge challenge. I mean, there's no way around it. But let me ask you this: what do you think the skills and the strategies that helped you overcome that specific challenge?
I wanted it. I wanted it so bad I could taste it, and so, you know, and to break a world record in Cadillac would be a different story than Fiat. It was a crazy moment in time, but you know, and I don't tell the story to brag or to say I am or my team's any better than anyone else. I knew what it would take to meet the man. I knew what it would take to break the world record, and I put an action plan in place, and we did not do it month one, and I asked for another month, and we got it, and then we did it, and it was strategic, it was planned, and it was everything that I did every single day. Inside of me, you know, and again, breaking a world record and meeting the chairman may not be your goal, but what is your goal, ladies? Where is it you want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And that's where you have to start saying, okay, here's step one, and this is how I'm going to get there. But don't say it if you don't have an action plan to get there. I knew that we needed to sell 10 cars a day for this many days on the days we were open, and then we would break the world record. And then what was it going to take to do that? Well, I didn't have enough inventory. Well, so I knew I was going to have to acquire 82 more cars from around the country, and I had to be able to get them here on time on trains and planes to be able to deliver them to do it. So, again, it was strategy from day one. And it's no different than if you want to be an F&I person or a general manager. You've got to build your strategy. You have to decide what you want to do. You've got to say it out loud, and then you have to build a strategy around it.
Man.
Isn't that the secret? You got to want it. You have to want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have to be a gender-specific goal.
No.
You know,
right?
it doesn't. But you know what? It's intriguing because I was, you know, I mean, and don't call it an ego because I think that could be a negative. But I mean, Lisa, what I heard was competitiveness. I mean, Bobby, jump on that for a second. I mean, that's what I heard. I heard I want to win. I want to get it, and I want to do it, and nothing's going to stand in my way. That's not a man's world, man. That's always been. Talk about that from your perspective, Bobby.
So, for me, in my perspective, I mean, I watched Lisa on that stage and left inspired and engaged. And I believe in what she's saying, which is you not only have to have confidence that you can achieve it and that your team can achieve it, but you have to hold yourself accountable by saying out loud, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to get there. And that adds another layer of accountability, right? If we're telling ourselves something that we want to achieve, the only person holding us accountable is us. If we're telling the world something we want to achieve, everybody is holding us accountable. And a big part of that is just wanting it, having the desire to do it, giving yourself the ability, and creating mini goals. I'm a huge advocate for mini goals. I hate this monthly goal stuff. I hate it when we say, like, I pay my bills monthly. Here's my car payment monthly. You don't do anything monthly. So if you're doing it daily, you're giving yourself an actionable way to improve when you start slipping. If you wait a month to try to fix something, it's not going to get done. And that's what Lisa's saying.
There has to be an hourly, minutely plan of execution at all times, you know?
Subi, that fires me up.
Yeah, right?
As it should.
You know, put it down on paper.
Yeah.
Those are messages, though, that aren't just for women. That's for anybody.
Absolutely.
And, but there are challenges specifically to women that are going through this industry. And April, you have a lot of experience in all sorts of areas of the industry. And so I think you have an interesting perspective and point of view. So what challenges do you feel are there for women just anywhere? Challenges in general that no matter what role that you're in, that you're facing, that maybe you can shed some light on?
Yeah, thank you. I think everything from either being in a car dealership or at the agency or in the vendor world or being a small business owner, you know, all the things that I thought were obstacles, I think were my mentality around them. So when I stopped looking at them as disadvantages or excuses, then just to what Bobby was referencing about competition and wanting it, I think it's who you surround yourself with, it's who you associate, who you mentor, who mentors you, you know, the kind of the messages that you put out into the world or that you receive. It's a mentality. I had to change the way in which, and I had taken both sides of the fence. I had used being a female as a way to get my foot in the door. I had used it as a way of getting, you know, just different things. And then I realized that wasn't really respectful to myself, nor putting out a good example. And the only thing that I've seen in this industry that holds true is, you know, how much you work and what you know and what talent you bring to the table. And so when you stop kind of focusing on whether you're a woman or male or gay or lesbian or handicapped or not, like, it's really about how good you are at your job and how much you invest in your skills and your trade, and then go after that and be the absolute very, I think, best that you could be in your, you know, line of work. And then after that, I don't think I had any challenges. The road kind of opens up and, you know, anything is possible.
It's a perfect message. It doesn't matter who you are.
Absolutely. Well, yeah.
There are certain.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There are certain skills that you need in general to try to fight through any challenges, any obstacles. You're going to get obstacles anywhere, and that's a brilliant message. It really doesn't matter who you are.
Well, it's in something that, you know, I heard April And Melissa, I think Melissa might have dropped off. I think she might have dropped off a while back. So we're trying to get her. But right now, we'll just talk to the four of you guys. But and so I'll just kind of throw this out there. Maybe Lisa or any of you can touch on this. But April hit on something. I know this is from the vendor side, but this resonates with me as a vendor and for 20 years, and I've had a lot of men and women work for me here, calling on dealers. So I'm sure this reigns true as a female. You said, April, that you use that to your advantage, to get your foot in the door and so forth. But one of the things I've always said, especially in the industry that, let's face it, Lisa, most of the people that are in your position are men, and women can get their foot in the door, so to speak, but that doesn't keep their foot in the door. And, what keeps the foot in the door is success and respect. And so April hit on that, and I think that's very important. I don't know which one of you would maybe touch on that for a second, but how important is that? And Lisa, from your perspective, how important is that?
Well, my heart is to promote women in the automotive industry. Anyone who knows me for 3 seconds knows that. But I don't, every time, I think all these conversations are for men and women both. Right. It takes heart, it takes passion, it takes determination. That's what it takes to be successful in the industry. And I think men have it just as much as women. But I think women are a little bit different as leaders. I think we're a little more transparent. I've been known to cry with an employee when they come and they tell me something, or something breaks my heart, or they've seen me, I try not to do it, but it's happened, where something devastating's happened. And so I think women bring a level of transparency. I got to meet Mary Barra a couple weeks ago. What a cool lady. What a cool lady. She wasn't there. She's the CEO of General Motors, and she's not at this event with an entourage around her. Mm-hmm. I was able to talk to her. She asked me if I could hold on 1 second so she could put her lipstick on. I'm just like, I just fell in love with her, And so I think that as women, I think that we deal a little bit differently. I think we communicate differently. I think we have a more nurturing side. But I think that men and women both have the opportunity to be equally as successful with all of those, heart and passion and determination and integrity and all the things it takes to make you successful. But where I like women in the auto industry is that level of transparency and authenticity that I think some guys just don't want to bring it to the table. They've got it, but as men, I don't know that it's always in the car business, and you cry with your salesperson or something happens. So I think it's just different on how we deal, men and women, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure a lot of guys have it. I'll say it. I'm not really sure that. I'm not really sure that a lot of guys know. Of course, Tommy and I.
I cried earlier today.
Yeah, Tommy and I do, but we're a rare breed. I don't
need a reason to cry.
No, I don't.
It's that one commercial.
Huh?
Ugh.
Well, you and I were crying the other day together, and but the deal is, on a serious note, not everybody knows how to do that, and so I don't think they do. I think that they're just as much at a loss. But the reality is, I think that's leadership, and so that's what I hear. And challenges don't stop because Lisa, Subi, April, Bobby, you guys have had success. And you, even though you've made, taken huge steps, your careers are amazing. You guys are speaking and not only running successful departments and businesses and so forth. So women that are listening right now, and even men that are listening, but women specifically, what advice could you give them if they're looking to someone like you, for mentoring? What advice can you give them to help them, as they follow in your footsteps? I'll go to you, Bobby, and let you answer that. Then you guys can just round robin that.
Okay, cool. Can you guys hear me okay? I had a quick mic issue.
You're good.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So here's what I'm going to tell you, and here's where it becomes different. Like you said, getting your foot in the door, that's not the hard part. It's sticking with it. It's earning that respect. And what happens is when you get to a level where you want to climb, people are going to intimidate you, right? They're going to challenge you on things. They're going to do it in a way that feels different for a woman than it does for a man. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen with both sexes. What I'm saying is let's recognize that there's a difference in the way that we communicate, whether it's to a potential employer or whether it's to an employee, whoever it is. And when you get to that point, I don't care how confident you are, fake it. you fake it. I hate to say fake it till you make it, but you have got to display a confident level that says, I get this. I deserve it. I worked hard for it, and I'm going to earn it. I just need somebody to give me the chance. Because the minute that you back up and say, you know, okay, well, maybe, you know, I should just let them be in the spotlight. That spotlight is yours. Step into it and stand up and raise your hand. And as Lisa said in many conferences, sit at the table. You hear me repeat that all the time. I didn't come up with that. I didn't come up with raise your hand. Maybe that's something been around for a long time, but I talk about it because it's true. Because if you don't raise your hand and you don't pull up a seat at the table, nobody's going to invite you to dinner. So that would be what I would tell women and men coming up in the business. Don't be intimidated by other people. Use that as a platform and use that as an opportunity to launch your confidence and to really show what you can do.
That's, by the way, that's
Shine
great
bright,
advice.
ladies.
That's phenomenal advice.
Thank you.
Because I tell you, I think the men struggle with that just as much because, you know, because of
Absolutely.
intimidation. I mean, in general. So, great advice.
Thank you.
Tommy? While he's thinking or pondering, does anybody else want to? That was, you know, we're on air, right? I'm like, Tommy. He's like, well, just hold on.
It was one of those times where I just had to cry. I had a good cry.
Oh,
I just
cry.
needed a good
Crying.
cry.
We
we
got
lost
jokes. He's got jokes. No, he's here. So let me ask you this: anybody else want to weigh in on that as far as mentoring? You know,
they're pondering.
can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we must have lost them.
Oh, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Hello, hello, hello. I think that we are.
In the meantime,
Are you on? Can you guys hear us? Can
Good month.
the world hear us? Hopefully that we were able to be heard. So we're going to keep talking. I can see them, and I can see them. So I'm assuming that you can still hear us. So Tommy, what great conversation so far. We only have a few more minutes, so hopefully we can get the ladies back on. If you guys can hear us, just let us know.
And our new car
Can you guys hear us?
starting to get some light.
And so, Mike, just give me the thumbs up when they come back on. And I apologize about the technical difficulties. And so, Tommy, we're not women, but we could talk about how important it is. Really, honestly, I think that was a great point that Bobby just brought up. Really, you know, you're not going to get invited, and that's really the same way with guys. If you're listening, guys, I mean, you know this. And thank you, Jason. Jason tweeted he can hear us. So, you know, you're not going to necessarily get invited to a space at the table. And that really is not gender specific.
No, it's not.
That's just really, you know, kind of, man, if you're opportunistic in a positive way and you want to take advantage of the ability to step up to the plate, then you really have to do that. That was great advice, I think, for men or women. What do you think?
Yeah, as Matt Koenig, right, is his last name. He had a couple tweets I was looking at. He said, I still can't understand why there is a separation of women in auto. You know, how can anyone be surprised by this awesome crew? And then he had another one, too. It was
My hair looks great. Can you ladies hear us?
He said my hair looks
Can you
good.
guys hear us?
yes, we can hear you.
All right. They could hear
Yeah.
us, but they couldn't hear you. We could see you. I apologize. I have no idea what happened. I actually watched Mike push multiple of the same buttons over and over, and finally they worked. So,
It's not working right.
and yeah,
Sorry,
Mike,
Mike.
you know,
Every time we're on ADL, we break it. Every time. I just want to point that out.
and you guys, you know what,
Okay,
you got to
so we
understand
gotta
that, you know,
comment
you don't
quick.
even know what it does. Like my OCD, literally, like I almost can't talk. Like I need like I need to have something that happens, like bars come over the screen or something, because like I lose my entire train of thought and want to go fix it myself. But so, Bobby, you said something amazing about being invited to the table, and I was asking if anyone else would like to weigh in on the topic of what would you say to somebody who is looking for a mentor and really said, hey, what can I do? And let's do this. Let's start with April, and let's have April and Lisa, because Subi's going to hang with us. Let's have April and Lisa weigh in on that, speaking to people who are looking for mentorship. April?
Well, I mean, I think starting with who you select to be in your pool of mentorship would be one. I think that the biggest difference for me was I had a really great group of people, and I still do. I would say my network of trusted dealers, vendors, OEMs, agencies, and I rely on them so much. I'm able to tap their brain when I need feedback. They're people I trust that will always give me a straight answer. But then in turn, to kind of stay paying it forward and making myself available to other people. So no matter where you're at in your totem pole, whether you're like just getting going, my brother is new to the car business, but he went from being a Marine into the car business. And even him being a newbie, per se, green pea, he's turning around and then also like applying what he knows from the Marines into helping other salespeople and giving them some structure. So I'd say my advice is like, one, connect, be open-minded, make yourself available. I try to be more available to other people than things that I would ask for, so I don't burn out my resources. But just listen to feedback, whether you like it or not, if you like it or not. And then just comment. I loved what Bobby said about, I don't wait to get invited. I make sure that I'm invited. I just really go after things, and like I said, I changed my mentality around it. I don't think anything can stop me. If I want it, I'm going for it, and you just, create the path. You just don't wait for it to be laid out for you. So just having that fire to achieve what you want, and then also knowing your strengths and weaknesses. I mean, about the crying or not crying, or, diverse, there's a lot of things that I would beat myself up for at the beginning, saying, oh my God, I'm not like this, and I'm not like this, and this person does this better, and I wish I was tougher or stronger. I almost cried in my first dealer meeting, and now I'm not friends with that dealer, but I literally thought, don't cry at your first big meeting, April, just don't do it. But I'm sensitive. That's part of my strength. That's me connecting with people. And you embrace that instead of beating yourself down for it. So good mentors, embrace your strengths, pay it forward.
Subi, that's
can I say something with what April just said too? Because
sure.
I love what you just said. One of the first things that I do when I start mentoring somebody or hire somebody, and it plays exactly off of what April just said, there's a book called Mindset. It's an incredible book. And what it talks about is what April just said, which is our entire lives, people are going to tell us what we're good at and what we're not. That will stop you when it's time to go to the table from thinking that you can accomplish something that you can, because your entire life somebody said, oh, maybe you're just okay at that, and you start to believe it. I would definitely recommend that book for anybody watching this show, anybody doing anything with anybody. It's a personal favorite of mine, and it speaks to what April just said, and it's very, very true. We limit our own capabilities unintentionally until we know we can accomplish them. And then once we know that, we're full force. Full force.
Wow. Hey, Subi, before Lisa gives her closing remarks and comments on that, Jim Ziegler, he tweeted and said he cried when Leonardo DiCaprio died in Titanic. He said there was room for two people on the driftwood. So just
that was a selfish move. We, of course, he would tweet that. Absolutely, he would tweet that. Because he's Jim Ziegler.
I'm never living this one down. I know I'm not. It's all right, though.
No, but I needed to hear some of the things that you guys are saying, because one of the things that maybe, Lisa, you could touch on is, and I've heard you talk about this before, that's why I'm bringing it up, it really doesn't matter what level of success that you get to. You're always going to be presented with situations that are frustrating, things that make you insecure, and you second-guess things, and people start giving you advice or talking to you and make you second-guess yourself. There's all sorts of challenges that come up with no matter what level that you're at. So never stop looking for that kind of help, because there is an entire community of not just women. There's a huge community of women that want to support each other, but there's an entire community of automotive professionals who want to support the betterment of the industry. And if we don't ask and we don't look, we're not going to find it. But I've been very lucky to have a lot of people that, that can, call me out or challenge me. And maybe all of the advice isn't relevant, but maybe some of it is. So you've got to, and also stay true to yourself. I learned that this year. I think that we go through all these peaks and valleys as we grow in our careers. And part of that is learning to navigate that for the first time, but also being true to what it is that you stand for. Don't let anybody shake anything of what you're doing because they question it. It should be about you and what you want to do, or else you're going to be miserable.
Amen.
Well, and I cried yesterday. During a meeting where my heart was broken. And you know what? I'm not sorry, because I didn't punch anybody, and that was going to be the other option. So you're welcome. I'm in. Yeah.
Good job on taking the higher
Don't
road
worry
on
about
that.
living it down, Lisa. Don't worry about living it down, because that is a beautiful thing, giving people the permission to be emotional, because we, in nature, humans are emotional beings, except for some people who can't show emotion, and then in which case I feel sorry for you.
Absolutely. Shout out to Kat Zuber, who's watching. Some tweets that are coming in. Just some guys, some ladies. Keith Wilkerson said, if you haven't shed a tear, then it's not a career to you yet. It's just a job. Just people are weighing in. Matt Koenig, awesome panel. He said that if you're not touched or moved by this panel, Next Level Briggs, punch them or cry. That was pretty funny.
That's right. See, she would have punched him for me.
Shoot.
No joke.
We got to go. Speaking of the second panel, let's give Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, do you want to go ahead and take the last word on the subject?
Sure. So the one thing I want to encourage people, so I think as leaders in the industry, I think everybody on this call and on this panel and on your next panel, we're leaders and people look to us to lead them. And I would say to anybody who's looking to mentor somebody, help them get their first win. You know, like if we've got to look at what's the most important thing that we could do for somebody that we're mentoring is help them get that first big win. So if it's a new salesperson, help them sell that first car, right? That's our first win when we get in the auto industry is we just sold a car. But, so that's what I do when I mentor quite a few people, and I've got men that I mentor too. But the thing I ask when I say, what does success look like to you? And then I really put some thought into, okay, so if that's what success looks like to them, what would be that first win that I could come alongside them and help them get? You give someone, I talked about it at Women in Automotive, that once you get that first win, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, it gets easier, and your confidence is built. I hear you guys saying, people are knock you down in the industry. It gets in any industry, right? Haters gonna hate. That's what's gonna happen. So you have to know who you are. You have to know what you stand for. You've got integrity and transparency, and then I think the real winners in this are the ones who care enough to help that next person get their first win. And so a lot of times I bow out of people's lives after that first big win, because then it's time for me to go help someone else get a big win. And then hopefully I've taught them well enough that they could pay their first win forward. So that's my best advice on mentoring.
Well said.
That's awesome.
Love that.
Make sure you check out Lisa Copeland, Bobby Heron, April Rain, and guys, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're all very busy, and we look forward to seeing all you guys really soon as we're rounding the top of the lineup here of things that are coming up this year. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, good to see you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Subi, that was it was awesome, and it's always awesome talking to a group of women who rock auto, and you're one of them, Subi. So Subi's still on, right? Oh, Subi's muted? Oh, okay. It's okay. Mike, just give me the thumbs up. All right.
We're having
So
a good
much.
show.
Oh,
today.
we're just winging it, baby.
It's good.
You would think that one other thing women do better than men is they plan. And they,
I think
they
they
plan.
do audiovisual things better as well. I'm not 100% sure on that.
They plan how the order is going to actually go. I was talking to Subi because I thought Subi was still on with us, but
We
she
see
is
her.
going to come back. Yeah, we can see her. We can see her.
She knows. She's here in spirit.
So what's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, listen, if you haven't seen on Twitter, #AutoDealerLive, we're giving away the farm today for the most. It's not just it's the top influencer. It's the most ridiculous, the most incredible, the most audacious, the most persistent, absolute awesome tweeting that goes on #AutoDealerLive. You're going to get 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but
4.
4
That comes after 3.
books. You're going to get It's Not Rocket Science. You're going to get autographed books. It's Not Rocket Science by Dave Anderson. Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey. You're going to get 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And you're going to get You're the Brand Stupid by Tracy Myers. And we got these books signed for you. All 4 of them going out for the
I'm looking at there's some
craziest tweeting going on.
A lot of tweeting going on too.
A lot of tweeting. Let me know when Subi's back on too, Mike. I'd like to bring her on into the conversation so we can kind of just take a little digression on before we bring on the next up, which is panel 2. The next up is panel 2. I'm real excited, man, to bring on. We've got a couple of two people on the panel are actually women who are selling cars currently right now, and then we have one who just left as a sales pro.
That's
and
Laura,
she's
right?
Laura, and she's now. And Subi, I know you're back with us as well. I was telling Tommy, I'm so excited about this second panel. We have 2 women, Subi, that are currently selling cars. I mean, literally right now. I mean, they're probably at the dealership while they're talking to us. And then We have one who recently left the industry and is directing sales for an organization that service car dealerships. And then we have a finance director at a dealership. And then we have a sales and marketing strategist for an automotive group. So, I mean, I'm just really excited about this next panel. Are you?
Me too.
You know these ladies. You know how strong they are,
I
right?
do.
So what do you think?
I think that there is such great passion in the groups that you've gathered across the board for both panels. And I think one of the interesting things is the success in many of these organizations, the women that are on the second panel, it's either it was in personal branding or people that were involved with branding their dealerships. So they have a very interesting point of view and a lot of great tidbits to share with the audience. I'm really excited.
I am as well. And you know, it's always, we always hear, and I know that, you know, we have some great people that join us always, but we hear always that we love, our audience says, I love to hear from people who are doing it right now. And, you know, again, to have ladies that are taking time out of their schedule, literally at the dealership as well, to, you know, to talk about what they're currently doing. They're really, I think, Subi, it's they're trendsetters, you know, because I mean, a lot of times, I know all the things that you do now to serve dealerships in the multiples, you did, and you had this mindset when you were at the dealership and you had to take care of your own business, you know, and so it worked for you, and you go, you know what, I just want to help more people do, you know, what I've done, and so. It's really trend setting. Is that a good way to look at it? Maybe it's setting a trend for what works.
I don't think anybody goes into it trying to set a trend. I think they try to do what's right for their dealership, and in doing so and being vocal about it, sometimes an individual can start a movement or restart a movement. Personal branding's been around for a while. It just wasn't coined. So you see these people that are doing innovative, creative things and getting recognition for it. The reality is there's probably a lot of people doing the same thing, just not getting the same recognition. And when these people bring that recognition, it sparks the idea in the other GMs that are out there that allow it to be, that allow these ideas to come to the table, which I think is beneficial for our industry as a whole. Personal branding is now an actual thing that dealers are embracing. Some of them are still scared, but knowing the success stories helps. So ultimately it leads to that trend concept.
Absolutely. Well, we're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yes.
Panel 2 of women who
rock auto.
How to get you to do it. The next up we have Laura Madison, and Laura is no stranger to Auto Dealer Live. She is also going to be bringing Laura Drives to the Autotainment Network starting in January. We have Amy Banner. Amy is an incredible professional auto salesperson and is leading the pack, has been recognized as by many credentials. I'll let her share some of those with you. You have Jennifer Briggs. Jennifer is director at Zima, correct, Jennifer?
Correct.
And Megan Bartow, finance director. Megan is an all-around car girl. I love Megan. And then we have Julie. I'm gonna say your name right. Gillentine. Is that correct, Julie?
That is correct.
It is correct. All right. Julie is in Dallas, Texas, and she is, if not on a regular basis, one of the top couple of salespeople, men or women, in her Ford dealership there. So, ladies, thank you for stopping your day and for meeting with us for a little bit. Subi here is obviously helping us, and she's our co-host today. And kind of jump right in, Amy. Amy, you've gotten some recognition this year that stems from the success that you had from your personal branding efforts. First of all, congratulations, and you were on the show a few weeks ago. We've been watching you grow. What made you decide to go the direction of publicly branding yourself? And how has that led to the success that you're seeing right now?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. And I would say, I don't know like a specific maybe turning point, but as I decided to do it, I just was getting such great feedback from my customers. And so with that being said, it was like, how could I not go farther with this? How could I not look into this? How could I not do this when my customers were reacting so well to it? And then as I just got farther along, people started taking notice and doing things that it's just turning into something very, very awesome.
You know, Laura, you know, I want you to comment on that. I got a couple of questions here. I know that Subi and Tommy have too for you, but Subi, Laura, hearing that, what Amy just said, you know, I love the answer, and I don't know if anybody caught that, or any, you know, guys listening. Sometimes us as guys, we don't hear the details. But if you didn't, her answer started with, I started getting good feedback. See, here's what a guy would say. I'm going to tell you what a guy would say. What a guy would say, hey, why did you do that, Dave? Well, you know, honestly, I started doing it, and my boss said, hey, good job. So I kept doing it. What Amy said was my customers were giving me good feedback. You know, right? Come on. I mean, and so Laura, how important was that word, customer, in her answer?
I mean, it was crucial, and I love it because I think Amy is in such a great place right now with really experiencing some momentum, which I think is really, really well-deserved, especially in her case. But that's what it's all about, and Dave, you set me up perfectly for this because when we talk about personal branding, I think one of the things that Amy focuses on the most, that's the most efficient about her brand, is she keeps the customer in mind. You know, it's always about the end game of conversion. How do we sell customers? How do we get more visibility with prospective and past clients so that we can stay a part of their lives, become a part of their lives, and sell more cars? I think that end game is something that Amy keeps in mind, and that's part of why I think she's done so fabulously well with her personal branding.
You know, Laura, speaking of personal branding, you were really one of the first, probably in the nation at least, or to have really any kind of significant success with personal branding. Now, do you feel that the success while you were working on the floor took away from your focus on sales, or maybe it helped it?
I think it completely helped it. I don't know that I would have been so successful without this thing that I developed, you know, without this personal brand. And it wasn't a deliberate move. It wasn't, I probably had never heard the term personal branding when I first started out. It was really born out of necessity, out of how do I become more visible to people in order to sell more cars? And that's just something that again, motivated the entire movement all throughout, you know, my experience on the floor.
Well, I think too. There's many dealers would probably be afraid of allowing their employees to brand themselves. Now, did you experience any pushback on branding from a dealer or a dealer group or a previous dealer you worked for?
You know, I think that 4 years ago when, actually we're getting closer to 5 years ago when I really started it, again, personal branding wasn't a phrase that I heard. You guys weren't around kind of sharing this knowledge and reaching out to this really great automotive community. So I think it was a little bit of a different world. I wouldn't call it pushback, but I think there was confusion about what it was that I was doing and why, and would it lead to sales, or was it distracting from potential sales? So I think that there was some questioning, some confusion at first. I think it dissipated really quickly when we saw the effectiveness of, you know, really creating a personal brand and creating a social presence kind of around that. And so the girls on the ground floor will know a little bit better than I do, but I'm hoping that feeling, that anxiety that dealers are having is kind of dissipating as we go forward.
Subi?
I would agree to some degree, but I would also
You're echoing a little bit.
I know. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Okay, so
if you can do that, you're better than I am.
What?
I said, if you can do that, you're better than I am. I would like literally just like,
Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So
You're good now.
ultimately, perfect. What I wanted to do is bridge that with Megan and Jennifer, because yes, it's getting more widely accepted, personal branding, but it's not the personal branding. It's not the fact that they're talking to customers, because there's two concerns that dealers are talking about. One, it's you're building this brand, you're gonna take my customers if you leave, and the other thing is you're gaining all this exposure. One, will I afford to keep you? Are you gonna ignore what you're gonna be doing? You guys know what I'm leading up to. So Megan and Jennifer, you guys talk at these conferences. You made a name for yourself by wanting to educate dealers, not necessarily wanting a name for yourself. I think that's pretty apparent. Both of you in your own rights. Megan, I've watched you make a name for your previous dealer, Tioka Honda, and really bring their brand up. And Jennifer, we've watched you grow. What do you think you want to say to people that may be afraid to let their employees develop a brand in this industry? Because there is that fear. Would you agree that that still exists?
100% that fear exists. And I think that it's about value. If the dealer realizes the value in that employee, and the employee realizes the value in having a dealer that embraces and helps and supports them to grow that, that is a fantastic relationship that will last a long time and benefit everyone involved. But there is still a lot of fear, I think, where the employees do start to get, you know, their name is big. Like you said, are they going to take that book of business and go somewhere else? But what I had always shared before is I'm happy. As long as I'm happy, I'm not going anywhere. And it's not about building a brand. It really is a drive and a passion to educate. Before I started speaking at conferences, I was still speaking, but I was just standing in a hallway with a bunch of people standing around and saying, oh my gosh, why aren't you on the stage? So it's just about sharing that knowledge. And I talk with dealers about that. You can't be afraid. You need to embrace it and give a home and a platform for your people to do that, because it's going to make you more money too. Don't be scared. Just do it.
Well
Absolutely. Said. Megan, what would a previous dealer or, you know, somebody who's listening that may be in the same boat of maybe gaining that little bit of success with either their community or with the automotive community, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them, or maybe even their bosses? What advice would you give them to maybe embrace it better?
I mean, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So it's one of those, you want your people to go out there and network and see friends and family and build their network and you really want them to be part of the community. People, I've always said people buy people. So if you have a friend that, you know, monthly card club with, you know, whatever it is, whatever you do, or whatnot, they're going to go to that person. So the managers and the general managers out there should embrace people, building their brand and building equity in themselves, because that also in turn builds equity in the dealership.
I want to jump to Julie. I want to ask you a question, Julie, because it kind of, well, staying on the same vein here, but just shifting a little bit. You know, what do you feel are the major roadblocks in bringing women into this industry today? And before you answer that, I mean, I know you work for someone that obviously is a believer in you, because how we found out about you, one of our friends in the industry was told about you from the owner of your dealership and how wonderful and amazing you were, and suggested that we interview you regarding this. So that's incredible, first of all. But in an industry where where it doesn't always happen that way, what do you think are the major roadblocks, in bringing women into this industry today, Julie?
I'm not even sure. I think women have a lot to bring to the table. It's they have different mindsets than men. Mm-hmm. They're not as, maybe intimidating. So I think it just brings a whole new parameter, to a dealership. Let
me ask you a question this way. What, are the guys all intimidated because you've been kicking their tail? How about that? Let me ask that question. Like you've been taking it and the lion's share of the business there. I mean, how's that looking in Dallas, Texas? How about that question? You can handle that question now.
Actually, we're really close here, so we're just very encouraging of each other. Mm-hmm. This is actually the first dealership that I've ever worked at. So I've actually learned a lot. There's another female salesperson here also who is phenomenal, who's been here longer than I have, who I've learned a lot from as well. So we don't really have that, I guess. Like, we help each other and encourage each other. And
what do you attribute your success having not sold cars? I think this is really hitting on a vein here because, obviously there's successful women on this panel that have been in this industry for a little while. So you're fairly new to the industry, or this is your first dealership, and you're doing very well. And so it's not because you've spent all this time in the car business or you know all this lingo. So then what do you attribute your success to? What do you think that's the number one thing, if you had to say, hey, this is really it, that can help women that are listening right now that may be struggling or possibly, thinking about even quitting this industry because, hey, you know what, I'm not figuring this thing out?
I honestly think that most of my success has come from Laura Madison's social selling and with Alan Ram's, his phone-up program and everything like that. I mean, I have learned a lot from it, and that has definitely been something that has attributed to my success personally.
Oh, wow.
And as our dealership as well.
Okay. Laura, so Laura, someone you're mentoring somebody there, I guess even indirectly. So thank you for sharing that, Julie. I mean, I know you're killing it there, and I appreciate the candidness because I think that actually, Subi, comes across in the fact that you've got people like many of you that are veterans, and obviously you've been doing this, but when you have somebody that comes on and basically is doing well, I think that's encouraging for people because I think there's probably women that are thinking about getting out of this industry every day, just like there are men. And I think that things like stories like Julie's, are encouraging. Would you agree?
Absolutely. One, I would say if you're thinking about getting out of this industry as a woman, call one of us, Megan, Jennifer, Bobby, me, April, Lisa, any of us. We'll rope you back in and get you a better situation. But on the other hand, yeah, you're right. There are challenges. There are obstacles. There are things that make you want to throw everything you have out a window and just walk out. I've been there. We talk about crying. One of my very first jobs in the dealer side, I got a manager position, an internet manager position, because my old internet manager walked away and I was his assistant, so they made me the manager and I knew nothing about it. And the process I put in place was a fair one. What I did not know was that there was a favorites that get fed, and they were very threatened by my fair process. So instead of bringing it up in a normal human way, they just came at me screaming that I knew nothing and I should leave, and I'm like, they just went at me, and I was a mouse back then. I didn't talk very much at all. This industry will change you for the better. But I had to get emotional. I had to get back, and I had to stand up for myself. And I walked away that night telling my husband, my boyfriend at the time, that, it was time for me to look for another job. The reality is there are a lot of things that have evolved in this industry, and I want to pose that question to Megan and Jennifer and Laura. For those of you who have been in this industry for a while, we've seen this industry evolve. It's a very different industry than when we started. But there are also pockets of areas or specific dealerships that function like when it was before. So maybe advice to both sides of that fence, to the people that are experiencing this industry that's more embracing of women, and to the ones that still feel the same. In my first dealership, you couldn't sell cars as a woman. So I'd have to work everything right up to F&I and put a salesperson's name on it. So let's give people some advice. If you're starting and you're thinking about leaving, or maybe some insight about the industry in general.
I mean, as far as at my dealership goes that I'm currently at, we have 4 female salespeople. We have 2, our F&I director, whose name is also Megan, funny enough, is a female, obviously. So, yeah, that's fun when somebody calls in and asks for Megan. And our title clerk's name's Megan. So they say Megan is pants, and so it's just, luck of the draw. So, yeah, the office staff I have a female in parts, and we also have a female service advisor. So I remember when I first started in the business, however many, almost 9 years ago, besides the accounting staff, I was the only female. There was no service advisor. There were no other salespeople. There were none of that. But now it's fantastic to see, the 4 female salespeople, the 2 F&I managers. We have one of the highest female ratios we're a pretty large dealer group, and we have one of the highest, I guess, percentage of females that in any of our stores, which is fantastic. We're all about helping each other, and, if someone's having a bad day, we'll help them get through it. Oh, and I forgot about our 3 people in our internet department, and they're all female, too. So it's just a great environment to work in, and we're all really supportive of each other and all there for each other. And, really, really excited to be there. And, as Subi said, rope each other in.
Hey, I bet your numbers are better than everybody else's, too, with all those women on the floor.
Well, especially CSI numbers.
Jennifer, I mean, and Laura, I mean, and Subi hit it on the head. I mean, there's people that are contemplating, getting out and leaving and so forth. But I mean, listening to you guys, there's not only hope, it's beyond hope. I mean,
there's a network. There's a network to help and support you. That's what there is.
There's also
and that's
a
the message we have to get out.
Well, I mean, we only have a few. I mean, we're over a little bit, but we only have a few minutes. But I mean, kind of going, Jennifer, this direction, and yeah, there is a network. But Subi said something again, just listening, catching the pieces as they fall. Typically, and I'm not trying to bash, guys, and I mean, guys, sometimes we might get bashed or whatever. That's not what we're trying to do here, right? We are guys, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're trying to do is we're trying to point out the flaws. And so here's what I heard, Subi. Hey, the internet person manager is fired or left, and hey, you're it. And then I'm going to yell at you when I don't train you and you don't do what you don't know what to do. I'm going to scream at you, And so, I mean, it shows me that we need training. We need help. We need organization. We need processes. So, Jennifer, talk about that. And I think women innately are good at that. I know my wife, man, she hooked me up with process. I mean, and if I don't, follow it, I mean, she's not shy. I mean, she tells me, I mean, she lets me know.
We all know.
And it is about process. I think that we can see that's very evident. I mean, as regular franchise dealers, we hate to look at what CarMax has done. Mm-hmm. CarMax is 100% process. And that doesn't matter of gender, but I do think that you'll find that there are a lot of women that are better at process. Mm-hmm. I did start as one of those office girls in the dealership. I was an administrative director before I got into the operations side of the business. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, I think they just put me there as a babysitter. They didn't think I was going to do anything. Well, they had a surprise coming. But being able to put those processes and hold people accountable. And this is not about bashing anybody ever, because everybody gets favorites. But I think sometimes you get that good old boys club, and he's your buddy, and you go and you go fishing, and you do this and that together. And you know what? Yeah, he broomed about 70% of the people, but we're still going to go out on Friday. Whereas me, I'm like, I don't care who you are. You can be my best friend, and you can ask Sign on the Line about this all the time. I will call her out because it's an accountability thing, and we do hold each other accountable. That process is everything for success. It's pretty simple. I always say it's a mathematical equation. That formula for success is simple. Just follow it. 1, 2, 3. Follow the process, and you'll get there.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're giving some closing remarks here, guys. I'll take a couple of minutes each, and we'll start with Laura. I mean, give the listeners homework, Laura. I mean, specific speakers, public figures, people that what they can read, what they need to attend, what they need to do. Talk to the listeners and tell them, in your opinion, what's step one, to really taking their dealership to the next level and helping really embrace what we've been talking about today. Laura, we'll start with you.
Step one would be follow all of these fabulous women on all social platforms. Subi, everybody, Amy, everybody here, to really get inspiration. And that I think when we really boil it down to wanting to stay in and really persevere in sometimes what can be difficult situations in dealerships for women, I think we need to really focus on the tools. I think that's what one of my successes was, to really focus on the tools and try and, lean really heavily on my Amazon account to read books that would inspire me. Read Sheryl Sandberg and look at, powerful both men and women in the industry, so that I can really kind of just be a little bit more internal with my success and with my motivation. Really focus on the tools that are available to just try to do the best that you can, so that you've built a place that you don't want to leave, that you're successful in.
Well said. Awesome. Amy, what say you?
Oh, sure. No, I would say a great place to start is just to kind of get involved in your community as well. Look around. Do some research on social media for your local community. Google your town. Find out, is there a chamber? Is there these kind of things that you can get in with little money out of pocket? Sometimes I think people are so afraid especially new salespeople. They maybe don't have the budget to go out there and do some of this stuff. Just become active. Start saying hello. Start selling yourself out there, and people will respond. It's not about posting out there, $200, blah, 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 blah. It's definitely about selling yourself and getting your name out there, getting your brand, if you choose to go that route, getting that out there and having people start responding, and beg your friends and family, your immediate friends and family, to interact with you on social media so your name does get out there. I bug my siblings and my mother, who's probably watching this. I am like, anytime you see me on there, like it. And so it's just really about getting out there and in front of people, and it does not have to cost you anything other than time and a little bit of thinking outside of the box. And then when you're sitting at home, and go online. You can read anything for free nowadays. Google, like, how to become a better salesperson. Google any of that, and I guarantee you'll have enough reading material for the rest of your life. So it's just about taking that first little tiny steps that are free. And then as time goes on, you may want to start investing in some stuff that will throw you out there a little bit more. But really it's just about taking that first step of making the determination, like, hey, I'm going to throw myself out there. And it's scary because you don't know how people are going to react, but I promise you people are nicer in general than you expect them to be.
Awesome. So it's hard work, dedication,
great.
And then making sure
Yep.
Mom likes all your Facebook posts.
Engagement is a whole other algorithm. Perfect note.
Subi, that's I saw Subi, you were just nodding your head. I'm sure she was preaching to the choir.
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant. But the only thing I would add is if you're going to sell, definitely get to know your community and reach out to them and neighbors and friends. And, like you were selling knives a few years ago, like, the Cutco knife concept. But I would also say one of the things that helps every single one of us that's in this conversation is to get to know your automotive community. I call it, when I was on the dealer side, I used to call it my genius network. I would have people that I knew would call me out, would do one of these things. Either call me out, would support me and inspire me, or talk me off the ledge, right? There are people that are going to give you great advice that is going to get you the end goal, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Build yourself a little genius network or a cool kids table or whatever it is that you want to do, and then use them and use these networks and the Carbucks and the Alpha Dog networks and everything that's available to us. Get to know people that are in your shoes or have been in your shoes that can bring that extra idea or talk you off the ledge, because I've been there many times. And Megan talked me off the ledge multiple times.
We all have. And Julie, I'm going to let you have your closing remark here. Just what can you give, some advice that you think that might be a first step? You there, Julie?
I am here. I don't know. Stick through it, hang in there, and never give up.
That's good.
I mean,
good advice.
I've had months that I was like, I can't do this, but
what got you? What got you
something
through?
Something in me. I couldn't. I'm not a quitter, so I was like, it's got to get better. It can't get worse. So and I stuck it out, and things, they always turn around.
It's
all
funny.
about your mindset. Your mind drives your success. You have to have a clear mind and a positive mind, or else you're not going to be successful.
That's great advice.
Very great. And I mean, that's probably not quitting is half the battle. I mean, and that's what most people need to understand. I mean, we don't always need, a new revelation. I don't think there's a lot of things that are new, so to speak, under the sun. So it's not the next revelatory, idea. It's not quitting. It's not giving up. And, it's being a serial entrepreneur or a serial salesperson, or, somebody that what that really means is I can't stop. I can't quit, And so well said, Julie, and you're doing a great job. And and thank you for coming on. And we'll give Megan and Jennifer a chance to go ahead and answer that question as well. Megan?
You know, Stevie and I think so much alike, and I was thinking it here in my mind, you know, what do I think? And that's one of them. It doesn't necessarily have to be females. It doesn't necessarily have to be people in your community, but build a network that you can rely on. People that have been in the auto business for a while in all different capacities and in all different realms. I mean, it can be like she said, a cool kids table, or it could be, you know, a secret club that nobody else knows about. But you remember the first rule: don't talk about the club. So, but it's important that you surround yourselves with people that understand what you're going through, and you know, that's one of the most important things. And to piggyback off what Julie said, also, I have a saying. When I was on the floor for 2.5 years as a salesperson before I moved on to different career paths and different things in the dealership. But it was SW4, and you always have to remember that. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone else is waiting, and that's just what you have to remember. That, you know, customer A might not have bought from me, and customer B might be a jerk. But you know what? That customer C is going to come in, and they're going to be the fantastic customer and send me tons of repeat referrals, and that's just what you have to remember when you go on and do those kind of things. So, you know, that's really what the most important thing is. Just let it roll off your shoulders, because they didn't buy from you. It's probably not personal.
Well said. JB.
It is certainly not personal, and I love that Julie brought that up, because one of the books that our team just finished reading, and I thought I reached to get, it's called The Happiness Advantage: The 7 Principles of Positive Psychology That Fuel Success in the Workplace. And pick it up. If you're in this industry or any industry, and you think about it, even in the best cultures, this is a hard business to be in. We've got long hours. The customers aren't always friendly. And sometimes if you're not, and as a female, not in the right store, it can be hard. And that negativity can suffocate you. But, of course, everybody knows me. This smile never goes away. And I really contribute that positive outlook to my success. So that's my piece of advice to close what I have to say is pick up that book and read it, and then tweet me or reach out to me, and we can talk about it, because it's awesome.
Man, that's awesome. Subi, what a great what a great panel. What a great panels. What great people.
Absolutely.
Great show.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much.
I agree. And
go ahead.
90% of the concepts we talked about may have had something to do with women, but they're completely unisex.
Oh.
Work hard, don't quit, network, you know,
I think it was
set goals.
I think CJ just Roig, I think it was, tweeted out, a guy tweeted out and said you could just record this whole show and make it a training for anyone that's going to be coming into the industry. I mean, in other words, that's a guy that just tweeted that out. You hit it on the head. This is you know, it's just people who rock auto. You know, but you know, you guys are so amazing, and I think to get everybody that was on the show today together, Subi, and just have that spotlight put on how amazing and really the practices, because I mean we just have this amazing people in this industry, and I feel honored. You know, I learn something every time. So,
well, thank you for giving us this spotlight to talk about this stuff, because yes, these are unisex topics, but there are a lot of women who feel kind of alone. And I know I was one of them. Jennifer could probably agree. Anybody else would probably agree. I don't think you know until you hear other people's stories how it's okay to be feeling or thinking the things that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel like you're not making any progress. It's okay to want to talk to other people. That just 2 points really quickly. If you're looking for mentors, or if you're looking to get involved, male or female, Women in Automotive Conference is a real thing. We're having our second one. So go to womenautomotive.com, find out more. If you don't know, contact me at Subi101 for about anything really. We're paying it forward, every single one of us, and we wanna help. But just my last thought as we're hearing all this, you can gain success, or you could struggle to gain success in this industry. Do not let it change you. Think about why you started, what you're trying to do, keep your mission straight, and do not let any of this change you. And then you'll find whatever success you're looking for.
Here,
She's so
here.
smart.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and Merry Christmas to you guys all. And
Merry Christmas.
And
Thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Happy
with
holidays.
Us. Yes, happy holidays. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
What was this Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Are you playing in the background? Yes.
I haven't got it right yet.
Real quick, a couple of things on an announcement level. First of all, what a great show. The next up for us, we have it's Christmas. We are not having a show obviously next week. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and thank you guys for listening. We're going to be at Digital Dealer in January as well. Got an incredible show. The next up in January, we have an amazing show. We've got just a round robin sales panel coming up. We have an e-commerce panel coming up in January. Then we're going to be at Digital Dealer, and so here's what we're going to do. We've got the Great American Automotive panel as a keynote at Digital Dealer on Wednesday night at 5 o'clock to 5:50. We have Rick Reichart, Matt Lasco, Brett Oob. We've got John Marazzi. We've got some incredible talent. We have 3 live segments that are going to be going on also throughout the conference in the exhibition hall. We're going to be interviewing Women Who Rock Auto. Also, want to give away tickets if you're in the auto business. You're a woman today. We want, in honor of you, we want to give away 5 tickets paid for to Digital Dealer Conference in January. So contact us. Mike, the number is what? 813-574-1820. 813-574-1820. We'll try to tweet that out as well. Again, I'll say 813-574-1820. First 5 women in the auto business that want to go to Digital Dealer. Your ticket's paid for. And so make sure you reach out to us. And we're going to be doing that each week. We're going to give tickets away to Digital Dealer as well. You don't want to miss the panel. It's going to be amazing. And you're going to pick up a lot. Also, we're giving away these books right now. We've got autograph books, Dave Anderson's It's Not Rocket Science, Grant Cardone's 10X Rule, Tracy Myers' You're the Brand Stupid, and then Dave Ramsey's Entre Leadership. 4 books to the most ridiculous, crazy, awesome, amazing Twitter leader.
Tweeter leader.
The influence is still going on. Mike, what time are we ending that? At 5 o'clock? Okay, so we got 8 minutes. So get on Twitter. #AutoDealerLive. We're going to tally it up in 8 minutes. We're going to announce on Twitter who the winner of these books right here are. Again, these are autographed, and you don't want to miss them. And this is our gift to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tommy, thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. Merry Christmas to
Merry
you, my
Christmas.
friend. Another great show in the books.
Boom, shakalaka. Like Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, you did it. That wasn't Bill O'Reilly. That was Saturday Night Live, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was.
All right, guys.
All right.
Yes. 5 women. Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Bobby Heron.
Arnold women.
5 women. Yes, not you, Arnold. 5 women. Let's do it. All right. Thank you, guys.
Amen. Peace.